These 10 Canva text apps can instantly upgrade your designs. I'll point out which ones are free versus paid, but most of them are free to try, including some of my personal favorites, TypeWrap, TypeCutOut, and TypeLettering. Timestamps are below, jump around if you need. Let's get into it. The first app I will show you in this video is FontStudio. This is a free app with optional upgrades. Let me show you how it works. Start by going to the Apps tab and searching for FontStudio. Choose this app. This app lets you choose from a range of different text templates. Some of the templates are free and some require a premium account to FontStudio app. You can choose a template and change the colors and layers inside of it. So let's just pick one and I will show you how to change stuff. I'll choose this template for this example. I'll write stay in all caps, and the first thing you will see is the preview up here. Everything you do in this app will be reflected in the preview. You can choose a specific font if you want, but it's important to note that not all Canva fonts are available in this app, just some of them. You can choose how you want to align the text, and if you click here, you can adjust the letter spacing and line spacing if you need to. In style, you can choose whether the text is italic or regular. Let me just change it to regular. You can change the letter fill to any color you want, and if you want, you can add another color. It will alternate between the letters. It won't be a gradient, each letter will just be a different color. If you want to delete a color, just click on it and then click the trash can right here. You can also play with the opacity if you want, and if needed, you can choose a gradient and add multiple colors to create one. You can change the angle of the gradient and the opacity of the colors. I will delete it for now, and the last thing here is that you can add an image instead of a color. You can upload one from your computer or use a selected image from your design. For this example, I'll choose a solid color and just add a new one. I'll change it to this kind of yellow and let's move on. Alright, so under special effect, you can do tilt and letter separation, but you will need a premium account for that. Next up are the layers. Layers are where you can control the rest of the text effects. For example, as you can see, outline, I have a black outline surrounding my letters and also a blue projection. I can change the color for each layer. Let me change it to this pink. And I can also control the settings of this projection. I can change its length, angle, and of course the opacity. I will change it to 5. This one will be something like that. And I'll leave the opacity at 1 because I want full opacity. Now the outline. That's the one underneath the projection, the outer line right here. I can also change the outline thickness if I want, and I can add another layer by clicking here. I can now choose whether I want to add an outline, shadow, or projection. Let's add another projection, change it to the same color as the last one. And I want this projection to use the same settings as before. So that's 5, 319, and 1. By the way, if you determine the projection angle in one of the layers, all of the other projection layers will follow the same angle, so you don't have to change it twice. You can also move the layers around by dragging them right here. Now I will add another outline. I will change it to black and set the thickness to 25 so it matches the previous one. I can basically add as many layers as I need, and when I'm ready, I can click on Add to Design and this text will appear on my canvas. I can also just change the text in the app and add the same design again. Let me just make them both a bit smaller, and that's it with FontStudio. You can play with each template here and adjust it so it fits your design. Now let's move on to the next app.
By the way, the apps in this video and so much more are inside my Canva second brain. If you want to save time and explore more Canva tools, grab it now.
The next app in this video is TypeWrap. This app is completely free. You don't need a premium account or to pay for any credits to use it. So from the Apps tab, I will search for TypeWrap and click on this yellow app. The first thing you will see is a preview of the text you're creating. I will write, "It comes" in all caps for the first layer of text. The second thing I can do is change the font to another one, but this time I'll stick with this font for the example. You can change the color of the text. It lets you choose colors from your brand kit palette if you have one, or from Canva's default colors. Of course, you can also add a new color if you want, and it also has the pick a color option if there's something in your design you want to match the text color to. I have a specific blue I want to use, so I'll just paste the hex code. Now let's choose the shape of the wrap. You can choose from these different shapes right here, and each shape has its own settings and types. For example, if I choose the wave option, I can switch it from one kind of wave to another, and I can control how many waves I will see on the text. And also the wave height. Once I'm ready, I will click on Add to Design and this text will appear on my canvas. It's important to know that if you want to make any changes, you can adjust things here in the app and then click Update Element. And the element will be updated with your changes. But if I want to add another text using the same settings I already adjusted, I will just duplicate this and then change the text only. I will write like waves, and I will use the same color and the same settings I already determined. I will just hit Update Element, and it will update the second element I just duplicated. Now I can position it and make both of them bigger like that. And that's it with TypeWrap. Let's move on to the next app. The next app is TypeCutOut. It's completely free and it lets you add images inside your text. So let me show you how to do it. In the app section, search for TypeCutOut and click on this app. The first thing you will see is a preview of the text we're creating. The first thing I will do is adding an image to the text. So I will click here to change the image and I can choose one from my computer. But if you have an image in your design that you want to use, just select the image and then this button will change to Use Selected Image. I will click on it and then I will see the image inside the text. Let me just change the text to Rethink in 3 different rows. And I want the text to be center aligned, so I'll do that by clicking here. I can also adjust the line height if I want it to be a bit smaller. I can do that here. I like the font, so I won't change it, but if you want to, just click here and you will see a list of fonts to choose from. Now let's go back to these icons. Since I already changed the image, if I want to reposition it, I can click here and drag the image to adjust its position inside the text. I can also rotate the image if I want. If I want it to be on the side, I can do that, but I'll return it to 0 for this example. And the last thing is the scale option. You can scale the image inside your text, make it bigger or smaller. One more thing to know is that you can switch the preview from dark mode to bright mode depending on the image you're using. It will help you see the result better. When you're ready, click on Add to Design and this text will appear on your canvas. I will just make it a bit bigger and now I want to show you a cool little trick. See this diver here? I can take the original image from here, copy it, and paste it right over the text. Now I'll make the image a bit bigger so it covers the text, and I'll remove the background. Now I only have the subject of the image and I can position it right on top of the same subject inside the text. And now I've got this person popping out of the text. It gives it a 3D vibe, which looks really nice. So that was TypeCutOut. Let's move on to the next app. And the next app is FontFrame. FontFrame is similar to the previous app TypeCutOut. It also lets you add an image inside your text. but there's a slight difference between the two, so let me show you how this one works. By the way, font frame is also completely free, just like TypeCutOut. Alright, so in the app section, I will search for font frame and click on the app. As before, I can see my text in the preview up here. Just like in the previous app, you can choose the font, alignment, and line height if you'd like. The key difference here compared to the previous app is that this time you can add a frame border, which means you can add an outline color around your text. You can choose the border weight, make it thicker or thinner depending on what you want. And of course, you can change the color to anything you like. I will keep it white because it works well with the black background I have here. And now let's change the image inside the text. You can choose an image from your computer, or if you click on one of the images already in your design, you will be able to use the selected image. So I will do that. I'll click Use Selected Image, and then I will see my image inside the text. Just like before, I can reposition the image inside the text by dragging it around and adjusting it as needed. And this time, if you want to scale your image, you will need to use the image zoom option. Just make it a bit bigger, and then you can drag it again to reposition it in the preview. When you're ready, click Add to Design and your text will appear on your canvas. I'll make this text bigger and position it right in the middle. And that's it. That's font frame. Let's move on to the next app. Alright, so the next app is TypeExtrude, and it lets you add depth to your text. It's also a completely free app you can use. Now let me show you how it works. So again, in the app section, I will search for TypeExtrude and click on the app. The first thing I will see is a preview of the text I'm creating. This time it's in bright mode. I can also switch it to dark mode if that works better for what I need. I'll keep it in bright mode for now, and let's enter the main text. I want to write good vibes only. Now let's change the font because this one doesn't really work for this text. So I will click here, pick another font, and go back to the main screen. Now I can see my text in the new font here in the preview. Next, I can change the text color and the extrude color. I'll keep the text white and change the extrude to this shade of purple. You can also pick a color from your design or even your browser if you need a specific one. And if you have a brand kit, you can choose from your saved color palette as well. Now I can change the alignment. I'll click here to center it. And I can play with the line height too. Let me lower it just a bit like that. Next is the outline thickness. I can adjust it if I want, along with the extrude angle. Let me shift that a bit like this. And the best part, the extrude length. I can stretch it out and make it much longer like this. Once I'm happy with it, I will click Add to Design and the text will appear on my canvas. I'll make it much bigger and position it right here. And that's it. That's TypeExtrude. Let's move on to the next app. The next app is TypeLettering. This app requires a Canva Pro account to use it. It lets you choose from different text templates and modify them. So let me show you how it works. Again, in the Apps tab, I'll search TypeLettering, and this is the app. As you can see, there's a Pro Crown icon, which means you need a Pro account to use it. But once you have a Pro account, all these different templates will be available for free. Alright, so let me choose one of them and show you how it works. Again, I'll see the preview up here, and the first thing I'll do is change the text. I will write Stay Cool, and I'll keep the font and the center alignment as they are. But let me just shorten the line height a bit so the two words are closer together. I'm pretty limited here. I can change the layers or the angle, so let's change the colors. The first color represents the background of the preview. You don't have to change it, but if you want it to match your design's background, it will be easier to see how the text color look in context. So let me pick the background color. The second color is the letter fill. I'll change it to white for this example. The third color is the first layer. I'll change it to this kind of purple. The fourth color is the second layer. I'll go with pink for this one. And the last color is the outline of the text. I will change it to a grayish black like this. Now I'm ready to click Add to Design and the text will appear on my canvas. And that's it for TypeLettering. It offers a cute range of templates, but we're pretty limited in the adjustments we can make to each one. So we're ready to move on to the next app. The next app is TypeCraft. It requires a Canva Pro account to use it and lets you customize the text however you like. Bend it, twist it, or wrap it. Let me show you how to work with it. So again, in the app section, I will search for TypeCraft and click on this app. The first thing I need to do is add my text. I want to add two different text boxes, so let's start with the first one. The first one will be the word make, and I'll leave the font as it is, but if you want to change the font, you can do it right here. You can also choose the style of the text. You can leave it regular, unfilled, or use text with an outline. I will stick with none and I'll change the color of the text to white. As you can see, the preview background automatically changed to black, so I can see the white text clearly on top of it. Now I can use the mirror points if I want to keep the shape symmetrical. For example, if I select mirror points horizontal, when I move this dot, the same movement will happen on the other side automatically. Same with vertical. If I adjust one side like this, it reflects on both sides. I can always reset the shape by clicking here and it will return to the default layout. So let's pick horizontal mirror and make these two parts bigger. Now I will click on no mirror and I'll move this point just slightly upward. Next, I want to play with the lower part of the letters. I'll bring this one here and this one here. And let's make it a bit round so it creates a cool shape like this. When you're ready, just click Add Element to Design and it will show up on your canvas. If you want to make any changes, you can go back here, adjust what you need, and then click Update Element. But now I want to add the second text, so I'll duplicate this one. Then I'll go up and change the text to waves. Now let's modify the points. I'll bring the lower part down like this to make it straight. And then play with the upper part. I'll take the W down a bit and the S up. Let's adjust the roundness here. And now I'll click Update Element and see the changes right here. Let me bring them a bit closer together and adjust it a bit more so it fits nicely. I think I'll lower the S slightly and raise the V a bit like this. Maybe like that. Let's click Update Element again. Now it's much better. Of course, you can keep playing with it until it looks exactly how you want, but you got the idea. You can really shape your text however you want here. And this is a great option for adding customizable text for your design. So that's TypeCraft. Let's move on to the next app. The next app is TypeGradient. It lets you add gradients to your text. This app requires a Canva Pro account to use it. So again, in the app section, I'll search for TypeGradient and click on this app. Just like other apps, the first thing you will see is the preview at the top. Once you add your text and colors, you will be able to play with these gradient points to customize how your gradient looks. I'll start by entering my text. I will write, "You can do it," just like this. Now let's change the font to something more rounded, so it looks better. Maybe this one. Now I can change the alignment if I want and adjust the line height too. I'll decrease the line height a bit. Now let's move on to the colors. I can click on each color point to change its color. Unfortunately, you can't pick a color directly from your design. You will either need to use a specific hex code or just play with the color picker here. I have a specific hex code I want, so I'll just paste them in like this. If you want to add another color beyond the default 3, just double-click along the gradient bar and you will see another color point appears. Let me paste another color in here. You can also adjust the position of each dot, move them around if you want more of one color in the gradient. You can also adjust the order of the dots if you want a different color sequence. The last step is to play with the preview dots to control how the gradient flows across your text. When you're ready, click Add to Design and your text will appear on the canvas. I'll make it bigger and position it in the right spot. Now, if you've already added the text to your design and want to make changes, you can go back into the app, adjust what you want, and then click Update Element. Your changes will be applied to the existing design element. If you want to test out different versions, you can always duplicate the page or text, play around with the duplicate, click Update Element, and that way you will have two different design options to compare. And that's it for TypeGradient. Let's move on to the next app. The next app is TypeCurve and it lets you create spiral text and curved text to add to your designs. Let me show you how to use it. By the way, this app is completely free. You don't need a pro account or pay for any premium features to use it. So in the app section, I'll search for TypeCurve and click on the app. Now I'll see a preview of what I'm creating. I can choose different paths to create. For this example, I'll choose the spiral path. Now I'll paste my text right here. There is no specific character limit. It depends on the path you choose and the size of the text. This example has 150 characters, and at this size, it fits exactly into the spiral I'm creating here. You can also choose a different font if you want, and change the text color to whatever you need. Just note this app doesn't have a pick color option, so you will need to enter a hex code or choose from the preset colors. I can increase the font size if I want, but keep in mind if you increase the font size too much, you won't see all the text inside the spiral. You will need fewer characters to make it fit. The font weight depends on the font itself. This one, for example, has regular and bold, and those are the two options available here. I will leave it on regular. You can also adjust the letter spacing. If I lower the letter spacing, I'll have more space to fit more text into the spiral. I'll reset it back to what it was. The last setting is the offset, which lets you change where the text starts and ends on the spiral. I'll leave it at 0 for now. And now I'll click Add to Design to place the text on my canvas. Let's make it much bigger and stretch it across the entire design like this. Just note this app doesn't let you edit the element after it's added to the design. If you want to change something, you will need to go back into the app, make your adjustments, and add it again to your design. And that's it with TypeCurve. Let's move on to the last app in this video. The app that will close our video is Depth Text. It's a completely free app and it lets you choose from a range of different 3D templates. Let's see how to work with it. So I'll search for Depth Text in the app section and click on the app. Then you will see some nice 3D templates in cool, unique shapes. Let's just pick one and see how to customize it. Again, the first thing you will see is the preview of the text you're creating. This time you can already play with it here. Change the angle and rotate it. But we will do that later in the layout section. Now let's style the text. I can change the text content right here. And as usual, you can adjust the font, alignment, and line height. In special effects, you've got some fun options like letter stretch and line tilt. Let me reset that to 0. You can also adjust the line separation like this, Alright, now let's customize the colors. You can choose your base color and extra colors if you want. When you add multiple colors, they will alternate between the letters. You can also play with the outline, remove colors by clicking here, and control the outline weight to get a different look. The last thing in this section is adding a projection. I'll add one so you can see what it looks like, but I don't love how it looks for this example, so I'll delete it by clicking here. Before we add the text to the design, let's head over to the layout section. Here you can choose different layout styles. These are the same ones we saw in the templates at the beginning. You can also drag and rotate the text in the preview, or use the X, Y, and Z sliders to fine-tune the angles with precise numbers. Alright, when you're ready, just click Add to Design and your text will appear on your canvas. After adding the text, you can still make changes in the app. Just tweak what you want and click Update Element. Let's try changing the colors for something a bit brighter, so I can better see the results in my design. I'll hit Update Design, and as you can see, the element updated.
And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want even more exclusive tips and early updates before anyone else, join my free newsletter. I'll see you in the next video.